Mel Bradley, who's one of our head coaches for this event out of our Sacramento chapter, and he is going to share a mission moment with you all tonight. Mel, you're up.
Amy, can you hear me?
Sure can. Thanks for being on.
Excellent. Well, good evening, everybody. And I thought I would talk to you about my journey in fighting cancer, my journey with the Leukemia Society, team in training, riding my bike, and as I love to say, making lemonade out of lemons. Or subtitled, what I've been doing for the last 23 years. In September of 65, yes, that means I'm very old, I met a girl by the name of Nancy Green in my senior English class. She was way more interesting than the class, and but I was pretty sure that she would never ever go out with me. Fortunately, that proved to be wrong, and we got married in 1969. She helped me earn my BS in electrical engineering and helped me graduate from UC Davis in 1970. In 71, our daughter was born. And for the next 27 years, life was good for Nancy and I. We had a daughter, I had a good job, Nancy had her own business. We had a home, a dog, a cat, a couple of cars, and our health. Norman Rockwell all the way. That was until 1996 when Nancy went in for what we thought was going to be routine fibroid tumor surgery, but during the procedure she was diagnosed with stage 3 ovarian cancer. That led us on a journey of surgery, chemo, and radiation over the next 9 years. Her ovarian cancer kept coming back on about a 3-year cycle, which meant more chemo, more radiation, and more surgery. In 2005, she was diagnosed with myelodysplastic syndrome, and that later evolved into leukemia. So in my opinion, the doctors won't say this, the 9 years of chemo and radiation was too much for her bone marrow and her body to handle. Off to Stanford, we went for a bone marrow transplant. We got lucky in that we found a perfect match, and in August of 2005, she was actually given her bone marrow transplant. We thought it was going to save her life. Unfortunately, the bone marrow transplant failed about 2 weeks in, and Nancy passed away on September 5th of 2005. And that takes you to kind of the situation that none of us want to face. When one door closes, what do you do? And I, for quite a while, was just absolutely lost, as you can well imagine. But one of my plaques hanging on my wall that I had long before Nancy got sick said, when you get to the point where anyone else would quit, don't. And I decided that I needed to adhere to that, and I decided to become a part of team in training. In 2006, I finished my first 100-mile bike ride around Lake Tahoe, riding as a participant with the Sacramento Team in Training chapter. For 6 years, I drove 100 miles each way to Sacramento from where I live, 18 Saturdays a year to ride with and train to do the Tahoe bike ride. Because there was no team in training cycle program down where I live. I kept complaining about that, and I think quite honestly, to quiet me up, they asked me to go ahead and try to start a cycle team down in the area where I live, which is in the Central Valley, as I said, about 100 miles south. In 2012, we did that, and we had 12 riders, and we raised about $40,000. Fast forward to 2018, last year we had 67 riders, and we raised $365,000, and we had 40 corporate sponsors to boot. My goal for 2019 is to have 80 riders and to break $400,000 raised on a single team. Last year, we also crossed $1 million raised since we started this team. So the name of the team was Team 1 in a Million. So we've been fortunate that we've been able to grow the team every year. And I hope to keep doing that as long as this whole body will let me do that. So the reason I go over all that is to kind of cover the last thing I said in my introduction, and that was making lemonade out of lemons. So, you know, when life gives you a bucket full of lemons, find some way to make lemonade. For me, training writers and raising money for LLS through TNT has been that. I make lemonade in honor and memory of my wife. I make lemonade to help in some small way to find the cure. I make lemonade, excuse me, so the day will come when no one else goes through what we did. I think in reality, it's why every one of us tonight do this. Thank you all for doing this for such a great cause. I hope to see every one of you in Tahoe. Go team.